Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Andrew. Whilst I'm taking a break from my Agile software design series, I thought I'd do a couple of videos on software security, as I need to be able to reference them from other videos. This video will be a short one about the principle of least privilege. This is another high-level security principle. The principle of least privilege is a simple one. It's to run with the least permissions possible. It applies to people and software. The idea is to identify the least permissions needed for everyday operations and then elevate to gain additional permissions for unusual circumstances. In the people space, you might possibly within a corporate environment have had two network accounts. One to do your everyday work and another to access servers, which you need to gain access to occasionally. And if that rings a bell, then that's an example of the principle of least privilege. But in the software space, a better example, one that you might be more familiar with, is ORMs, Object Relational Mappers. In the .NET world, we often use Entity Framework Core in order to access our data stores. However, there is some risk associated with ORMs that we need to consider. ORMs really do two things for us. They allow us to gain access to our data easily, but they can also be used to apply schema changes when that schema alters between versions of our software. However, applying schema changes is only something that we need to do as part of deployment, and it is not a part of your everyday application's needs. This is really about employing defense in depth, which I've mentioned in another video. The problem here is the damage that can be done if there is any vulnerability in your software or your infrastructure. We used to employ a software practice, a security practice known as perimeter security, which was about keeping the bad guys out. But this is a very outdated mindset. It was very often about a corporate network, and in these days of remote working and cloud-based work, the corporate network is not what it was, and that security strategy didn't work even when we did have a corporate network and we're all within it. A more modern security practice these days is to consider what damage can be done once the perimeter is breached, and indeed some people recommend assuming that it already has been. If an attacker gains access to your data stores with a lot of privileges, then you are in big trouble. If you value your data, then you should protect it. Consider that migrations are part of your deployment strategy and not your everyday operational needs. Try to use permissions that are split to suit the two different things. You might consider using a deployment pipeline to apply schema changes, and then run the application with fewer permissions. Having your users able to drop your tables or your entire database is not a good security strategy and is easy to overcome. Well, that's it for the principle of least privilege. The idea really is to reduce permissions to those needed for everyday operations. Elevate for less frequent scenarios requiring more risky permissions. I'll probably try to do other security videos in the future, but that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll join me again soon.